Welcome to Whispers from the Grove, a quiet space for reflection, patience, and the wisdom of the natural world. I'm glad you're here. Let's listen.
Okay, I have a confession to make. It's a small one, but I think it's relevant.
Yeah.
Every single Tuesday, I tell myself, do not drink coffee after 4 p.m. You will not sleep. And every Tuesday, like clockwork, at 4.hiv, I'm brewing a fresh pot.
And let me guess, you don't sleep.
I stare at the ceiling.
Yeah.
Every time. It's like the smallest, pettiest version of the huge cliche, history repeats itself.
Or those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it.
Yes, that one. We hear it so often. It's basically background noise now. It's the live, laugh, love of history, right?
It is. It's a bumper sticker. And the problem with bumper stickers is that they stop you from actually thinking. You nod, you agree, and then you go right back to making the exact same mistake.
Whether that's my afternoon coffee or, something slightly bigger.
Right. And that's what's so interesting about the source for today's deep dive. It's a piece called Echoes of the Long View.
And it argues that we actually have no idea what history is trying to tell us.
Right.
It's not a textbook. It's not a list of dates. It's more of a philosophical take on why we seem to be stuck in these loops.
Exactly. We think history is just data. Memorize enough battles and you'll get it. But this source says, no, that's just trivia. History isn't a spreadsheet.
It's a what?
It's a mirror. And if you don't like the reflection, memorizing the year the mirror was made isn't going to help.
That's what hooked me, the idea that it's a reflection of us right now. So that's our mission today.
Right.
To unpack that, we're going to look at the anatomy of how civilizations rise and fall.
And it's probably not what you think.
We're also going to talk about why our modern need for speed is, ironically, making us blind. And then we'll get into this really haunting part about nature being a silent witness.
That section on nature, I had to read that twice. It completely changes how you look at a landscape.
It's heavy. Okay, so let's start with the mechanics. The source opens by just smashing the idea that history is a how-to guide.
Right, the rule book.
Yeah, we all secretly want that, don't we? The rule book for civilization. Step 1, build roads. Step 2, don't mess with the currency.
Step 3, profit. Yeah, we want the cheat codes. But Echoes says history doesn't do bullet points. It doesn't tell us what to do. It just shows us who we are.
And it argues that the whole rise and fall cycle isn't about resources or geography. It's about psychology.
Specifically, it says societies rise on a foundation of trust.
Okay, but trust sounds a little soft. Like something from a corporate retreat. Are we talking about, emotional trust?
I have the same skepticism, but it digs deeper. It's not just, I like you. It's systemic trust. Think about building a city.
Oh, yeah.
You have to trust that the person who designed the bridge knows math. You have to trust that the money I give you today will be worth something tomorrow.
Right, and that the laws apply to everyone equally.
Exactly. When that whole web of trust is working, the source says people can dream together.
Dream together. That's an interesting way to put it. It's like a shared fiction we all agree on.
Precisely. And that shared dream is what creates the rise. But here's where the mirror gets uncomfortable. The fall isn't usually caused by some external disaster.
Not an asteroid.
Right. The real collapse happens when that trust creates an opening for its opposite, fear.
So it's an internal rot.
Almost always. The source describes this mechanism where the we starts to shrink. We stop dreaming together and we start hoarding things apart. We get scared of the outsider or even our neighbor.
That feels incredibly relevant. The difference between a place where you can leave your door unlocked and a place where you need a security system.
And the text points out this is nothing new. Look at Rome. Look at the great Chinese dynasties. It's the same psychological pivot. They didn't just run out of money.
They ran out of trust.
They ran out of the ability to cooperate. They fragmented. And the source uses this really visceral image. The same society that builds the library eventually burns the books.
That's the part that I never get. I understand decay, bridges rust. But the act of destruction, why do we tear down what we've built?
The source suggests it's an identity crisis. When we stop being builders and we become protectors of what's mine, that shared thing like a library, it actually becomes a threat.
A threat? How?
Well, if I'm hoarding power, I don't want a library giving knowledge to everyone. I don't want a bridge that lets those people into my neighborhood. So we tear down the very things that connect us.
Wow. That's bleak.
Yeah.
But it makes a kind of terrifying sense.
And this is where the mirror concept really hits. We like to think of ourselves as the builders. We look at the pyramids, the moon landing, and we say, look what we can do.
Right.
But the source forces us to see that we are also the destroyers. We are the ones who lit the match. Both the architect and the arsonist are looking back at us in that mirror.
And we usually try to say, oh, that was them. That was the Dark Ages. We're different now. We're enlightened.
Which brings us right to the next big point in the text.
To the modern blind spot.
This is the part that's really about us, people listening right now.
The source argues we have this unique disability when it comes to seeing these historical patterns.
Yeah.
And the irony is, the disability is caused by our superpower.
Speed.
It's a total paradox. We have more data than any humans in history.
Mm.
We know what happened in Tokyo 5 minutes ago. But the source says this speed creates something called the short now.
The short now.
Explain that. Because I feel like I'm pretty aware of what's going on in the world.
You know what's happening right now. But are you seeing the arc? The source compares it to standing with your nose pressed up against a giant painting.
You can see the brushstrokes.
Perfectly. You can analyze the pigment. But you have no idea what the picture is actually of.
So because we're obsessed with the latest notification, we lose the peripheral vision of the century.
Exactly. When everything is urgent, nothing is historical. We're trading wisdom for information. The text literally says, there is no room for the long view when you are constantly reacting.
And if you're constantly reacting to breaking news, which is usually designed to be scary.
Which side of that cycle does it push you toward? Trust or fear?
Right into fear. It keeps you in that defensive crouch. You can't dream together when you're doom scrolling.
You really can't. And that blindness makes us so vulnerable. We think we're immune to clocks because we have iPhones. But the psychological engine, that loss of trust, that rise of fear, it works just as well in social media as it did in the Roman Forum.
Maybe even faster.
Probably faster.
So we're just running 1,000 miles an hour, blinded by our own dashboard, repeating the same cycles as our ancestors, just with better Wi-Fi.
That's the argument.
If we're so bad at this, who or what is actually paying attention?
This is where the source makes that really interesting pivot you mentioned.
Yeah.
It turns away from all the human noise and it looks at the land. The section is called Nature as Witness.
And I'll admit, when I first saw that heading, I thought, okay, here comes the poetry. But it's actually central to the whole idea, isn't it?
It's critical.
Yeah.
The argument is that humans were unreliable narrators. We lie to ourselves, we rewrite history, we forget the bad parts. But the land remembers.
It uses the image of old battlefields.
Yeah, turning into quiet meadows.
I've seen that. You go to a place like Waterloo, and it's just grass. It's peaceful.
But that silence is deceptive. The source says the land remembers better than we do because it doesn't need to tell a story about it. Underneath that meadow, the soil is different. The trees have rings that record the year of the fire.
There's a line about the trees that really stuck with me. It says they hold the memory without judgment.
That distinction is everything. Witness versus judge. As humans, we are obsessed with judging history. These were the good guys, those were the bad guys.
We need to know whose side we're on.
Right. But nature just witnesses. A tree doesn't care if the soldier leaning on it is a hero or a villain. It just holds the moment. And the text suggests that if we want to learn, we need to learn how to do that.
Wait, are you saying we shouldn't judge the past? That sounds dangerous. If we don't say certain things were evil, haven't we lost our moral compass?
It's not about abandoning morality. It's about the first step. The moment I judge someone in history as a monster, I put them in a box labeled not me.
Ah, I see. It's a way of distancing myself. I would never do that.
Exactly. But if I just witness it, if I look at the fact that humans with the same DNA as me did this thing, then I have to admit that the potential for that is also in me. The source calls it the dual truth.
What's that?
We are capable of astonishing cruelty and astonishing kindness. Both are true. Both are us.
That is deeply uncomfortable. It's much easier to just point fingers.
It is. But as the source says, certainty without reflection is just another kind of blindness. If you're certain you're one of the good ones, you stop watching yourself. And that's when the cycle gets you.
Okay, so we have the cycle, trust to fear. We have the blindness from speed. And we have nature as the witness. If I accept all this, what do I actually do? This sounds like a recipe for just giving up.
Right, for nihilism, empires fall, pass the popcorn. But the text is adamant that's not the point. It talks about breaking the pattern.
And it doesn't call for some grand revolution.
Not at all. It was the most surprising part for me. It goes microscopic. It argues that since the cycle is made of millions of tiny interactions, breaking it happens in those tiny interactions too.
It gives 3 specific examples. The first is choosing mercy when revenge is easier.
Think about it. The physics of history is action, reaction. You hit me, I hit you back. That's the cycle. It's automatic. Choosing mercy to absorb that blow and not return it is to physically stop the momentum.
You're stopping the dominoes from falling.
All right.
Okay, the second one, a community protecting the stranger instead of turning away.
Again, that directly fights the falling phase. A collapsing society circles the wagons. It blames the outsider. If a community refuses to do that, they are actively repairing that web of trust.
They're refusing to participate in the collapse.
Yes. And the third one, a leader listening instead of shouting.
It sounds so basic, right? Just listening.
But in a time of fear, everyone shouts, everyone broadcasts. Listening is a radical act. It admits, I might not have all the answers. It reopens that space for dreaming together.
So the source is saying we can't control the macro. We can't stop the empire from crumbling if it's on that path. But we can control the micro.
And that the micro matters. The text makes this beautiful point that history remembers those breaks just as much as it remembers the falls. We remember the people who hid their neighbors during atrocities. We remember the truces.
So bringing it back to the mirror, the source is asking us to look in the mirror, see the face that is capable of burning the library, and then just choose not to strike the match.
It's asking us to recognize that we have a choice every single day. The cycle isn't a train track we're strapped to. It's more like a deep groove worn into the mud.
It's hard to steer out of.
Very hard.
Yeah.
But we're still holding the wheel.
But it requires slowing down enough to even see the groove in the first place.
And that's the final sentiment of the text, this idea of giving time room to teach.
I love that phrase. But it's so hard to do. It means sitting with uncertainty. And I hate uncertainty. I just want to know if we're going to be okay.
We all do. We want the spoiler. But the source says that very desire for certainty is what blinds us. If you rush to a conclusion, we're doomed or we're saved, you stop paying attention. You stop doing the work.
We need to be more like the trees.
Exactly. Stand your ground, witness what's happening, and don't rush to judgment.
It's about patience. History is long. Our lives are short.
And the lesson is that we are the architects of the next cycle, right now. In how we treat the person who disagrees with us, how we react to a scary headline. We are building the next reflection in the mirror today.
So here's the challenge for you listening. And it's not just about late night coffee.
Though you should probably stop doing that.
I really should. But the bigger challenge is this. The next time you feel that reflex of fear, that urge to shut down, to blame, to shout, just catch yourself.
Treat it like a data point. Ask yourself, am I adding to the trust or am I adding to the fear?
It's a small question.
But if enough of us ask it, the answer could change everything. We can't fix all of history, but we can change the echo.
Thank you for listening. We're going to leave you to sit with that for a bit.
Let the long view in.